In 2014, Azvi led an R&D project to provide a variable gauge axle solution for freight wagons. In 2015, Azvi and TRIA were awarded the ADIF contract to develop and certify the consortium-designed automatic variable gauge Ogi freight axles and gauge changeover facility on standard 1435mm and Iberian gauge 1668mm track. Two types of axle have been calculated, designed and manufactured according to the European Technical Specifications for Interoperability Standard for railway axle manufacturing. One of the axle types has a 920mm wheel diameter for a maximum load of 22.5 tons per axle for use with flat cars fitted with Y21 bogies. A second axle type for 760mm wheels and a maximum load of 16 tons per axle is for use with car transporters. The gauge changeover facility was put together at the ADIF maintenance base in La Gineta, Albacete. It permits a smooth transition between standard and Iberian gauge track. It is automatically operated, bidirectional, permits gauge changeover processes without the need for unloading, and can be fitted outdoors. It has automatic devices to ensure the axles are correctly locked on departure. It is currently undergoing the variable gauge axle homologation process, as set out by the Spanish Technical Specifications for Homologation Standard. The axles have been fitted with either 920mm wheels on an MMC3 intermodal container flat car loaded to a maximum of 90 tons, or with 760mm wheels on a Lakes car transporter loaded to a maximum of 64 tons. The fatigue tests on the test bench consisted of 10 million vertical and horizontal fatigue cycles with loads of up to 38 tons per axle. Tests were carried out at Setest, a multinational company accredited for the homologation of railway rolling stock, in their Beasain facility. On-track tests were carried out on the gauge changeover facility at the ADIF base in La Gineta, Albacete. A total of 500 continuous automatic gauge changeover processes between 1668mm Iberian gauge and 1435mm international gauge were carried out, averaging over 100 changes per day. The first 50,000 kilometers, phase 1 of the in-service tests, were carried out on 1668mm Iberian gauge track on lines 310, stretch Aranjuez-Cuenca, and 300, stretch Alcázar de San Juan, La Encina, with traction provided by Traction Rail, Grupo Azvi's railway operator. The second 50,000 kilometers, phase 2, were carried out on Iberian gauge and UIC track and included over 50 automatic gauge changeover processes at maximum permitted load and speed. Iberian gauge tests were run on the same tracks as phase 1, while UIC tests were on the Madrid-Valencia-Alicante high-speed railway, between Valdemoro high-speed railway and Monforte del Cid, with traction provided by Renfe Alquiler. Bureau Veritas, the verification and certification entity, was responsible for publishing the evaluation report following the requirements set out in the Spanish ETH standard. The Ogi Axles successfully completed the 100,000 kilometers and the corresponding automatic gauge changeover processes in Phase 1 and 2 of the in-service tests. As a result, they obtained the technical approval, which involves commercial operation. Thanks to the efforts of Azvi, Ogi and TRIA, as well as AESF, the railway safety bodies which guarantee regulation compliance, and the certification entity, the Ogi Axles are moving forwards in solving the substantial problem faced by freight traffic due to the existence of railway networks with differing gauges, both in Spain and on the cross-border railway axes.